In the early hours of September 5th, the 11th typhoon of the year, Haikui, made landfall successively in Fujian and Guangdong within 2 hours, severely affecting both areas. Alongside numerous water discharges due to tofu dreg dams, torrential rains have led to widespread flooding, with the urban drainage system paralyzed, turning streets into rivers. Reports indicate that many people were swept away along with their vehicles. In addition, the flooding and immersion caused numerous buildings to collapse. Before this, the typhoon took an unusual path, making landfall in Taiwan twice on September 3rd and 4th, bringing heavy rains and strong winds to the region. According to the China Central Meteorological Observatory, around 5:20 a.m. on September 5th, Haikui hit the coast of Dongshan, Fujian province, with the maximum wind speed near the center reaching 8 during landfall. That is, 20 meters per second, tropical storm level. Influenced by the typhoon and accompanying atmospheric flows, the central and southern parts of Fujian experienced heavy to torrential rains from September 4th, with many areas breaking rainfall records dating back to 1960. Fuqing County in Fuzhou recorded extreme hourly cumulative rainfall values reaching 190 millimeters, and a 3-hour cumulative rainfall surpassing 300 millimeters, setting a new historical record. The torrential rains coupled with reservoir discharge resulted in severe damage in the county. Videos from the early morning of September 5th show that the heavy rains in Fuqing triggered flooding, with the water level in the Longjiang River within Fuqing surging dramatically, seemingly overflowing the embankments. A video posted by a netizen reveals that the Shimen Bridge, located in the Shizhu Street of Fuqing County, collapsed due to the flooding. Water levels have almost reached the surface of the bridge. The bridge, still covered in water, is now closed, and fortunately no casualties have been reported so far. The severe rainfall and flooding, exacerbated by the perennial collapse of the urban drainage system during such events, have turned the entire county of Fuqing into a vast ocean. The swiftly moving floodwaters pose a grave danger, with many cars and motorcycles submerged and even swept away. Videos showed residents trying to assist each other amidst the floods. Numerous underground garages have been inundated, with vehicles floating and piling up chaotically. Footage shows the first floor of residential buildings flooded, with cars almost fully submerged. According to the Fujian County Integrated Media Center, the heavy rainfall concentrated in the central urban area and the northwestern mountainous townships of the city, resulting in flooding in several townships, landslides, collapses, road damages, and waterlogging in residential areas. Around 11 a.m. on September 5th, local residents reported that water levels on some roads have receded, and water levels in the community garages had decreased slightly. But most remain flooded, with nearby garages almost entirely underwater. Videos reveal many street-side shops inundated, with streets in a state of havoc and numerous items swept onto the streets by the floods. Many factories also suffered heavy losses due to the flooding, resulting in significant losses for already struggling business owners and bosses. Some business owners reported losses of hundreds of thousands of yuan, with one person stating that this is their second bankruptcy in a short period.
损失几百万啊，民清板东啊，三包厂被冲了，到处都是，唉，到处都是，唉，心塞呀，到处都是，到处都是。
In Quanzhou City, Fujian, gales accompanied by heavy rains roared through. Many cars struggled to navigate in the strong winds. The vehicle shows streets quickly transforming into rivers, with various debris scattered everywhere due to the floodwaters. Since the evening of September 4th, before the landfall of Typhoon Haikui, the sky over Fuzhou City had been full of dark gray clouds, resembling an apocalyptic scene. The Fuzhou Education Bureau announced that all kindergartens, primary and secondary schools in Fuzhou will be closed for a day on September 5th. After the typhoon made landfall, Fuzhou was battered by fierce winds and heavy rains, with roads flooded and unable to drain quickly. Many cars were submerged on the streets, with some areas experiencing floodwaters that almost engulfed the vehicles and suspected water ingress on the first floors of buildings. The surging floods also rushed into underground parking lots, leaving residents helplessly watching their cars being inundated in the newly formed retention areas. In Xiamen, Fujian, the continuous heavy rains induced by Typhoon Haikui caused widespread waterlogging, with people trapped. The downpour resulted in nearly 2 meters of water accumulation in many areas. Weather watchers noted that the torrential rain in Xiamen was just the beginning. The rainfall situation facing the coastal areas of Fujian and central and eastern Guangdong would become even more severe. In Yongtai County, Fuzhou, around 4:15 a.m. on September 5th, a fire truck from the Yongtai County Fire Rescue Brigade was swept away by the floodwaters during a rescue mission in Chili Village, Tangqian Township. There were 9 people on board. As of 1 p.m., 8 individuals have been found, with one unfortunately showing no signs of life, and 1 person is still missing. In Minho County, Fuzhou City, known as the goldfish hometown of China, several townships suffered disasters, with the entire village of Gucheng in Nantong Township being flooded, resulting in heavy losses for aquaculturists. With Fujian province still suffering from the aftermath of Haikui, the typhoon made its way south and hammered the neighboring province of Guangdong. Around 6:45 a.m. on September 5th, it made landfall again along the coast of Raoping County, Guangdong, with the maximum wind force near the center also being level 8. Haikui has brought significant damage to Guangdong province, which had just been struck twice by the 9th typhoon Saola. After making landfall in Guangdong, Haikui weakened to a tropical depression, moving southwest at about 10 kilometers per hour, with its intensity gradually decreasing. By the afternoon of September 6, it had become very difficult to ascertain its circulation center, so the Central Meteorological Observatory ceased numbering it at 5 p.m. that day. However, the impact of the typhoon continues, with heavy to torrential rains still affecting southeastern coastal regions of China. It is worth mentioning that the name of the typhoon, Haikui, has unexpectedly attracted considerable attention from the public. According to international naming conventions, this typhoon should have been named Longwang or Dragon King. It was changed to Haikui following a request from Chinese officials. According to reports, in the early days, there was no unified naming system for typhoons internationally. Some countries differentiated them by numbers, while others used a combination of numbers and names. However, this could cause confusion and difficulties in research and identification if several typhoons formed at the same time. Therefore, starting from the year 2000, the naming list for tropical cyclones in the northwestern Pacific was established by the World Meteorological Organization Typhoon Committee, comprising 14 member countries. The naming convention involves 5 lists, each containing names contributed by the 14 member countries, with each country providing 2 names. The names are used cyclically according to the English alphabetical order of the countries, restarting from the first name after all 140 names have been used. This year, the 11th typhoon named Haikui was originally called Dragon King. It was formed on September 26, 2005. According to Wikipedia, at the time, Dragon King resulted in 147 deaths and over 39 injuries in mainland China. Consequently, China requested the name to be removed, leading to the change from Dragon King to Haikui. Officially replacing Dragon King was Haikui in 2007. It was first used in 2012, making this the 3rd time Haikui had been used as a name. The intense typhoon Dragon King in 2005 had a path similar to the current moderate typhoon Haikui. Dragon King made landfall in Taiwan's Fengbin Township, Hualien County on October 2nd, with the Hualien Meteorological Station recording a maximum wind gust of 64.9 meters per second, equivalent to over 17 on the Boatford scale, breaking records in Hualien. When Dragon King exited from Changhua and entered mainland China, it brought heavy rainfall that caused flash floods. A People's Armed Police training base in Fuzhou, Fujian was swept away by the landslide, resulting in 85 fatalities and disruptions to bus services, railway lines, and highways. But the public remained skeptical of the official casualty data due to the lack of transparency from the Chinese authorities. The impact of the current Typhoon Haikui is not any less severe than Typhoon Dragon King in 2005. According to the Fuzhou Meteorological Bureau, the typhoon brought short-duration but more intense rainfall compared to the previous Typhoon Doksuri. CCTV News reported on September 6 that the Fuzhou Flood Control and Drought Relief Headquarters revealed that 49 out of 420 reservoirs in the city have exceeded their flood limit levels, with bodies of water such as Meixi Lake, Dazhangxi Brook, and Ao River exceeding the warning levels. Over 80 locations in the urban area have been flooded, including 12 underpasses, with a maximum water depth of 1.4 meters on the roads and nearly 4 meters in the underpasses. As of the morning of September 6, 147 townships were affected, impacting a total of over 51,000 individuals, with over 36,000 people urgently relocated. 63 residential complexes in the urban area were severely inundated, with 44 residential complex underground garages flooded, along with 16 urban villages. Flooded farmland amounted to almost 4,200 hectares, with 170 road and bridge damages. 919 houses were damaged, 67 houses collapsed, 125 power lines down, 85 kilometers of communication lines, and 21 communication bases were damaged. Direct economic loss amounted to 552 million yuan. During and after every typhoon period, there are instances of heavy rain and flooding, causing significant losses to the local population. Moreover, the release of water from reservoirs is almost a routine event during heavy rains, exacerbating the impact of the local flood disaster. In the wake of Typhoon Haikui, reports indicate that out of 420 reservoirs in Fuzhou, 49 have exceeded the flood limit levels. Thus, releasing water became inevitable. Dongshan Reservoir in Fujian County is one of them, having started releasing water from 6 p.m. on September 5th. Subsequently, the local government issued another notice for water release on September 6. This large-scale water release in the middle reaches of the Longjiang River brought greater flood discharge pressure, causing residents on both banks to face the onslaught of floods again. It's well known that the original intention of reservoir construction was not only for irrigation and hydroelectric power generation, but also for flood storage to mitigate the effects of flood disasters. But many reservoirs in China have become dangerous due to years of disrepair. To prevent dam breaches, water release needs to be more frequent during severe floods. In fact, this primarily stems from the fact that most of China's reservoirs were constructed during the Great Leap Forward period in the late 1950s. Under the slogan of building socialism more quickly, better, and more economically, many reservoirs were constructed without giving regards to scientific and natural laws, often completed in half or even a third of the originally planned time, resulting in numerous shoddy projects. Some of these poorly constructed reservoirs can still function normally after multiple repairs and reconstructions, but a large number of them have become hazardous due to years of neglect, unable to withstand the impact of floods and failing in their role in flood control. Therefore, emergency discharges are required to prevent the dams from bursting each time heavy rains occur. Most of these reservoirs are managed by government agencies. Responsible managers notify the public ahead of time, while irresponsible ones discharge water stealthily. For instance, the recent flood discharge notification from the Dongshan Reservoir, a large reservoir constructed during the Great Leap Forward, is an example. This reservoir, spanning an area of 15 square kilometers with a normal storage capacity of 185 million cubic meters, features a reinforced concrete wide-joined gravity dam with a height of 38 meters. Besides water storage for irrigation, it also has power generation facilities. Records show that the reservoir, which started construction in November 1957 and was initially said to be completed in 3 years, was finished in just 1 year and 1 month. Put into use in December 1958, it experienced dangers during Typhoon No. 8 in 1960, with significant displacement occurring at Dam Section 8 due to flood impact, followed by abnormal pressure changes. Various canal sections and structures cannot handle the designed flow, and numerous wooden aqueducts were destroyed by the floods. The sluice gates of canal structures were all wooden laminated beams, inconvenient to manage, among other issues. Furthermore, landslides and leaks frequently occur in the rainy season due to the deep excavation of canals and the hanging of slopes beside mountains. Subsequently, from 1961 to 1966, large-scale reinforcement and expansion projects were carried out on the reservoir. Following several renovations in 1979 to address the leakage issue, a project to stone-line the main and branch canals commenced. Initially planned in 3 phases, the second and third phases were never initiated due to large investments, labor-intensive work, and the inability to fundamentally solve the leakage problem. No information is available regarding further reinforcements or renovations thereafter. But it's not hard to imagine the current desolate state of this 65-year-old reservoir, built on such a poor foundation. Thus, frequent flood discharge during heavy rain is not surprising. The flood discharge from Dongshan Reservoir in Fujian will affect downstream areas, but fortunately, local government issued a discharge notice, allowing residents to take precautions, but this is not always the case. Recently, netizens revealed that during Typhoon Saola's assault on Guangdong, several local reservoirs discharged water without warning late at night, leading to flooding in some areas, replicating the previous flooding scenario in Beijing, Tianjin, and Hebei. On social media platform X, users reported that on the night of September 2nd, the Luoding Reservoir in Guangdong began discharging water, with all 5 gates opened. The water flowed into surrounding villages. Residents were heard exclaiming, "Disaster! The reservoir is releasing water." Videos posted by netizens on September 3rd showed multiple reservoirs in Yunfu, Luoding County, Guangdong, discharging water simultaneously, causing a massive influx of floodwater in residential underground parking lots, with cars submerged at exits and electric bikes washed away. The flood levels, which the urban infrastructure could not withstand, forced residents into a hopeless situation, with videos showing floodwaters reaching the 3rd floor in Yunfu, Guangdong. Many people struggled to walk and evacuate in waist-deep water, with several vehicles submerged or washed away. From late July to early August, continuous heavy rains in Beijing, Tianjin, and Hebei caused widespread flooding in northern regions. To protect Beijing and Xiong'an in Hebei, several reservoirs around Beijing discharged water without warning on July 30th and 31st. This led to millions of residents in floodwater-designated areas such as Zhuozhou being trapped due to the sudden discharge, with water cuts, power outages, food shortages, and communication breakdowns. Some areas in Zhuozhou are still submerged, with residents struggling to survive under extremely difficult conditions.